What was the destroyer? Can you just paint a picture to us first of all? What were you doing? What was it like?
I got to say first, it's very cold. But I was a little bit lucky. I was a submarine detector, so I was undercover, you know, most of the time. But, you know, getting to Russia, the trees, howling wolves, something I'd never experienced before. It was marvellous in a way, and you knew that you'd got there.
This was a time when Russia were basically held, you know, hostage themselves. There was nothing going in, nothing going out. The Germans were surrounding.
Yeah.
We know the history of that. So, what was the importance? It must have been a significant importance for you to get the convoys through.
I couldn't give you a list of what was on the convoy, but usually it was tanks, munitions that had to be made regularly because the amount of firepower the Russians were putting up against the Germans.
Okay.
All right. It's pretty raw even now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, John, how long and how important was it for these ships to get through, for the Russian people themselves, and for the war effort to actually win the war?
Had to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what you were seeing around you basically was, how many times did you go? Was the convoys going?
I think it was twice.
Yeah.
Such a long time ago.
And a lot of ships lost through
Yes.
U-boat attacks, destroyer attacks, mines, aircraft.
Yeah. Well, the firepower you had put up to over the convoy.
Yeah.
If there was aircraft, you know,
Yeah.
you couldn't do anything else. But then I'd be listening for the submarine.
Yeah. So they were everywhere, above you, around you, under you,
Yeah.
wherever. Pretty deadly times.
Yeah.
As far as the crew were concerned, I mean, you talk about you were downstairs, if you like, when you were undercover, as you said. But the conditions up above, we're talking about what, ice on the ships, absolutely freezing.
Don't put your hand on the guardrail
Yeah.
without gloves on. Basically, it would
Stick there.
and, you know, yeah.
And
No, I shouldn't. I wouldn't say this. It's
having a wee even.
yeah.
Yeah. Having a wee, you couldn't do that outside or overboard. You had to be
no,
within.
because you'd have to snap it off. Like.
Good Lord. Wow.
I'm sorry.
It was that bad. So we're talking about now as well. We mustn't forget the merchant seamen that were on these ships that they weren't armed.
We were their protection.
Yeah.
If we failed, they would fail.
Yeah. And also a lot of them got left behind
Yes.
to their own devices.
Yeah.
We know of significant incidences where the convoys were told, you know, we're out of here, and they were left.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of men lost at sea during that time.
Oh yes. And I mean, when you went into the sea, it was the end. Like
That was it.
It was cold, very cold. You know, I remember we were alongside. We brought the convoy, and coming along on the wharf was a couple of hundred Russian women soldiers marching around. And to see women like that, heavily armed, it is so unusual.
Children as well, I'd imagine. They were training youngsters
Well,
up.
16 was older, like
Yeah,
on it, you
yeah.
know. So, but the women, all armed, were to the front, marvellous.
So where did you eventually dock? Because were you safe then when you got into the Russian ports?
Yes, we had to go up this inlet, and as I said, covered in forest, one side in particular, and woo, you know, the wolves.
Yeah.
And then, where did we get? Murmansk.
Murmansk.
And we were alongside there. We had to oil up ourselves for going back, like, you know. And perhaps we take empties back from another convoy, you know, really that type of thing.
Mm.
We had to.
And did you get off in Russia? Did you actually disembark and have a look around? I know all but
Yes,
short periods maybe, but
you know, you couldn't go far.
yeah.
Couldn't go far, but it's worth. Seeing as you're there, you may as well have a look.
What were the people like? Did you know? Because it must have been a very poor climate
you
at
know,
the time.
What people don't realise, they were fighting on their country, on their land. We have never done that.
Mm.
That's the difference.
Mm.
And when there's thousands being slaughtered
Yeah.
by the Germans, they didn't want anybody behind them. You know, it is.
Was any of this stuff being fed up to St. Petersburg that you know of?
The what?
Was any of the equipment you were taking over and the tanks, was that going towards the Battle of...
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We had taken it there.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah,
left
what
to the
they-
dogs,
what
and
they did,
what they did with it then
like.
was there, yeah.
Yeah.
This chap who's actually given the medal here, or who started it off, was Admiral Ushakov, and he, yeah, I mean, he's, let me see where it's come as a bit of a surprise to you after all this time that it's arrived, and I guess two Russian gentlemen turned up at the house and said, here we are, John.
Yes, well, that's the only time it has happened. But I got 4 other Russian medals.
Yeah.
You know, that have been sent to me with letters. The letters are behind the medals.
What does it mean to you after all this time to have these gentlemen turn up from the Russian embassy and say, you know, here we are, we recognise your efforts for our country?
You're still remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's important, isn't it? And you've got the others, you've got 4 altogether, as well as that, and that makes 5. So are these the convoy medals as well, or are they naval service?
We'll say, like every 15 years they would send me one.
Right.
Now this is the 70th year.
Can you show us that one that you've just had? So that's the medal. And you've got a couple more, if we see those as well, if you can show us those ones. What are they for? They're Russian ones as well?
I mean, over the years, since the war, an occasional medal was coming through the post,
Sent
with
in
an
the post.
explanatory letter.
Wow.
But this one that's come now, they brought it.
themselves.
So it's 1942 to 1946 there for those two.
Yeah.
So that's the time you're on the destroyer. Do you wear them on Remembrance Day, or they sort of stay in the case for you? And
Well, as it is now, I've got 8 medals up.
yeah. So you're sort of leaning to one side.
No, you can't put too much.
Yeah, but what did you say? This you're not allowed to wear.
Well, what it is, like the French one, you know, I got medals and I don't know what to bloody do with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wear what I'm supposed to wear, and that's
Yeah.
it. Taking it.
So what's that one for, John?
For helping to free France.
All right. And let's just talk about that. And so, were you involved with that as well with the Navy? That was part of what was your role? Were you evacuating people, or were you taking troops over?
We came down from Russia.
Yeah.
And formed the new destroyer flotilla. All tribal class destroyers, Polish destroyers, Canadian destroyers. We were formed together to clear the channel so that the invasion could take place.
So the Admiralty formed that specifically to blitz any German occupation out of the channel.
Yes. We fought all those months then. Before. It's difficult for me to explain that because, I mean, able seaman I was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where the ship went, I went.
But I can imagine the tactic. We got the channel running let's say it's east-west or north-south or whatever, so essentially you would have been creating a corridor for the boats to go across, the invasion troops to go across from the channel, from Dover.
There was a lot of work to be done before any invasion.
Yeah.
We were sinking German destroyers.
Minesweepers.
And whatever came, and we did what we... In fact, I don't know whether that French one, after the invasion, Germans sent 4 destroyers up from the south to interrupt the invasion. The Puron, the Bliskovika, 2 Polish destroyers, ourselves, I can't think of the other destroyer. We went down, we met them, and we sunk them.
All right.
Very terrible.
Is it the pain then really? Is it more that you were the memories of that, or is it the fact that there was so much loss of life on either side there?
The loss of life wasn't all that great in the Royal Navy. I mean, the loss of life occurred when you leave a ship and walk up a beach and a machine gun shooting you down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Army, of course.
Yeah.
So, but I think that was for stopping those destroyers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when we know that the evacuation took place, then were you involved with that, with bringing people back from Dunkirk and so on?
That was at the beginning of the war. I was only about 14 then.
Yeah.
I was too young to...
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So this was sort of further on than you were.
Yeah.
You were on. So how old were you when you were on board?
I'm 18.
18. It's quite young, isn't it?
Yeah.
So where were you born then? In Llanelli?
Yes. Oldcastle Road.
And where did you join up?
Swansea.
So you joined up in Swansea?
4 of us together.
You still friendly with them? Are they still around? Are they?
I saw the 2 of them after the war, but Des Donner, who we never saw, I never saw him. Whether he was killed, I didn't hear anything. But the others are dead anyway.
Yeah. But you joined up together. It must have been quite, an adventure. But what drove you? I mean, it might be a silly question, but what drove you to go as an 18-year-old, leave Llanelli, join up and go and fight?
Yeah. When you think that the furthest I'd been was to Ascot with my father. He went to see the horse race and I went with him. And the world is your oyster there.
Yeah.
The Royal Navy.
Yeah.
So it was to travel and to see the world in a way, but whether or not naively or not, you got caught up in an enormous conflict.
Yeah.
Well, my brother had gone.
So your brother was in...
Stan, yeah, Stan.
He was in the army.
He was in the... What was Stan in?
He was in the start of the SS.
Was he?
Yes. Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
And did he come back?
Him.
Yes,
yeah.
He came back.
He died a couple of years. He was older than me.
And when you look around today and you see what you fought for and the world as it is, have you seen, has it changed? Are there improvements? Are you glad of what you've done, or have you got sort of not so much reservations about doing what you did, but looking around the world today, what kind of state is it in for you?
Terrible.
Worse than it was?
Oh yes. I mean, the worstness of when I was young was not being able to work, get a job.
Yeah.
But now, everything's different.
Yeah.
There's no civility and Jesus.
So does that disappoint you in a way, having lived through those times and fought so hard for that freedom, democracy, a way of life?
Well, the thing is this, I suppose every era had its downside and everything. It's sad that these things happen now, but still, you got to look away like in it.
When did you leave the Navy then?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, 46, 47. Then
You came out in 46, 47. And what did you go into then? What did you do?
I was digging the foundations of Darwin School with the foreman. He was that wide.
Yeah.
He was Irish.
Yeah.
And don't make a mistake, or, you know. But I went to the steelworks then, and that's where I worked.
Yeah. Were you able to talk about it to people like that hadn't gone, or guys that were around? Were men talking about the war? Did they just sort of put it behind them, draw a line under it, and that was that?
I think you can say that, you know.
And that went for their families, for your wives, for your children. You didn't talk about it.
No,
I think he could talk about some. Yeah.
it was over then.
Yeah.
Let's start a fresh business, you know.
He used to make it seem. He used to cream over the sort of.
The bad bits.
Yeah.
But even now you can see it's very raw. You're 92, and you know it's. Is it almost, you know, you come to a point where you want to talk about it, or there are things that you still want to say?
No. I think I'm very weak and bloody crying.
Dad, you're not.
No.
I had a bit of a week as well. My mother was taken to the hospital.
Okay. No, but it's you know, looking around, you can see the destroyers on the wall, the certificates, the badges, Ashanti,
that was his on.
The Ashanti, you can see that. The picture of you there, the bits of people. You seem like a Navy man, you know, through and through.
Those ships, there were 16 made in about 1938, and 4 survived. They were all named. There was the Cossack and all a tribe, a name of a tribe, and the Ashanti was a tribe on the west coast of Africa. And the ship was blessed by the witch doctor. They took the ship down to there, and it was blessed by the witch doctor.
And I can see a lot of family photos behind you, and one of is that your grandson there behind you on the wall?
The one,
There are 2 of them, but one.
both of them.
And they were in the services as well?
Yes, he still is.
Yeah.
But he was in helicopter accident.
An RAF one?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, as far as the way things are going through the world today, again, the conflict we're seeing in Syria, in Afghanistan and Iraq and all of these kind of things, you fought for peace, didn't you? You weren't fighting for destruction, you were fighting for peace.
Yeah. I suppose it did happen for quite a few years. Everything's so savage now, my Jesus, they kill for anything.
But he's our hero. He's got 5 children. 5.
So you got 5 children. Let's talk about growing up then. Where did you go to primary school?
I went to Lakefield.
Yeah.
Lakefield School. Well, leaving school at 14 then.
Yeah.
And
what was it like in Lakefield? Tough?
no, great.
It's all right.
It's a lovely old building.
Yeah.
You know.
Good
and
teachers.
I was a prefect for a while.
Good
The
teachers.
stair prefect.
Oh, very good.
Don't run down the stairs, you'll fall.
And nobody left school without it being able to read or write?
Not that I know of, but
Yeah.
you know, it's...
Good teachers, good food.
Yes. Well, they could give you a clip in those days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you skylark around, you're going to have a clip.
And so did you go to secondary school then?
No, I left school at 14. I was a brilliant pupil, up to a point. And I had a job in Station Road in the woodworking shop
Right.
with Levi as the
Oh,
owner,
right.
and his red-headed Jewish wife.
Good Lord.
All right, they were 7 and 6. I ran all the way home,
Yeah.
7 and 6 for my mother.
What was Llanelli like at that time? I know, because you're talking about the Jewish population, the shops were everywhere, weren't they?
Yes, there's plenty of work there.
Yeah.
You know, you're surrounded by tin works, steel works. Of course, these things gone now, but...
So you had all of the Macanis, there were small works down there, there were large Stephen Castle Road works there.
Stamping, it was...
Thriving town.
Yeah.
and to see the women going to work in the morning and hear them,
Yeah.
the clogs click down Old Castle Road, click, 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 click,
Yeah.
you know.
Marvellous.
It was, and they would dress to work.
Mm.
They'd have old leather aprons on, clogs on their feet. They didn't have to change. You wouldn't change in work. You would start work and walk home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing in Cletty was there were trams as well.
Yes. They used to turn up here, but opposite the garage.
Oh, did they?
Turned.
Yeah.
Did you ride on those?
Every New Year's Day I'd go up to Darwin to sing in the Bush Hotel, which was run by my uncle and auntie. I'd go up and sing there, and they sent me out then to the back because the swing was there.
Mm.
And I mean, perhaps I didn't have a brilliant voice, but the thought was there.
Yeah. So a bit of entertainment on ship. What? I mean, did you have downtime on the ships? Were you allowed to do things? Was there a release? Was there a break? Was there time off?
Yes. You could play bingo at night.
Right.
You'd sling your armlocks, get a bingo, and you'd always, on the deckhead, on the electric wires, and to run the ship. And you'd keep your bit of chocolate up there, and next day you'd have a look, the bloody chocolate had gone, or half of it nibbled by the rats.
Oh no!
No
So rats on there as well. And belongings-wise, you had your uniform, times two, and that's it.
But you'd buy your own uniform then, because the ones that what we used to call passa ones weren't smart enough.
What about communication back home? Was that censored?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we'd go ashore for evening. I mean, if you want a letter, you would post it.
Yeah.
There was nothing there to stop you. But when you go in a pub, we'll say, keep the trap shut, about where you go here, where you be, and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
That was instilled into you.
And what was the pay like for you?
Oh, hell, I can't remember. A couple of shillings a day.
That's what it was.
Aye.
And so you left with literally the money you had in your pockets?
And I think I had a payment of £95, I think.
Wow.
To cover the years I was there.
Right.
And that's a lot of money. And I was working in that shop, 7 or 6 a week. And you're working 6 days. But they were hard, I say.
Would you go again if you had it time over again? Would you?
I think so.
You'd do it again.
It was a good experience.
Mm.
You saw a lot of people getting hurt, but you got to do it.
Mm.
My brother went first, and I went then.
Mm.
Yeah. Aye. He worked in the steelworks as well. He had me the job in the steelworks.
Mm.
But if you pass Darwin School, part of the foundation was my pickaxe.
We got a lot to thank you for then. We got the war to thank you for, and Darwin School.
God,
Without you, we would have had the kids educated.
no, I didn't think I would not together.
Yeah. Got that as well. There we are. That's brilliant. Thank you, John, for speaking to us.
From Russia with love, I fly to you. much wiser since my goodbye to you. I've tried